Mira Hale had survived first contact with 17 different species, negotiated trade agreements that prevented 2 wars, and once talked down a Quithian warlord from glassing an entire moon. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared her for babysitting duty aboard the Celestial Harmony. The ship was a marvel of interspecies cooperation, a diplomatic vessel that housed representatives from across the Galactic Council. Mira served as the human ambassador's attaché, which usually meant boring meetings and endless paperwork. Today, however, Ambassador Chen had volunteered her for cultural exchange duties with the Velskaran delegation. The Velskarans were a feline species, bipedal, covered in soft fur that ranged from golden amber to deep charcoal, with large expressive eyes that could melt the hardest heart. They were also notorious for their curiosity and their cub's penchant for mischief. "They're delightful children," Ambassador Chen had said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I'm sure you'll manage just fine." Myra should have known better. She found herself in Recreation Base 7 with 5 Velskaran cubs, each no taller than her waist, their tails swishing with barely contained energy. The leader of the pack was Tovik, a russet-furred troublemaker with one ear that flopped forward and eyes that sparkled with intelligence far beyond his years. "Miss Myra," Tovik chirped in heavily accented standard, "what games do human cubs play?" "Well," Myra began, setting her tablet down on a nearby table. "We play hide and seek, tag, sometimes we build things. Build things." The cubs shrieked in unison, and suddenly they were off, scampering toward a pile of magnetic construction blocks in the corner. Myra smiled. This wasn't so bad. She'd just supervise from here, maybe catch up on some reports. She picked up her tablet, entered her password, and began scrolling through the daily briefings. 15 minutes later, her communicator chirped. It was Lieutenant Rodriguez from Supply. Ambassador Hale? We've got a situation. It's Attach Hale, actually. But go ahead. Right, sorry. We just received a requisition order from your terminal for 50 boxes of ... human treats? Chocolate gummy candies, something called sour worms, potato chips, cookies, and is this right? 17 varieties of hot sauce? Myra's blood ran cold. I didn't authorize any. She spun around. The cubs were still playing with blocks. All 5 of them, innocent as angels. Except her tablet was no longer on the table. "Tovik," she said slowly, "where's my tablet?" The cub looked up, tail swishing. "Tablet? What is tablet?" "The flat, glowing rectangle I was just using." "Oh, that thing." Tovik's eyes widened with theatrical innocence. "We did not touch it, Tovik. We only looked at it." "Tovik!" ... and maybe pressed some buttons. Myra closed her eyes and counted to 10 in 3 different languages. "What did you do?" Another cub, smaller with cream-colored fur, tugged at Myra's sleeve. "We saw you press the shiny food pictures before, during break time. You showed us the human database of snacks." Myra's heart sank. Yesterday, during their cultural exchange session, she had shown them Earth's cuisine database. The cubs had been fascinated by the variety of human food, especially the concept of junk food treats consumed purely for pleasure rather than nutrition. "We thought," Tovik continued, climbing onto a chair to be at eye level with Myra, "that if human cubs eat these treats, maybe they make humans strong. Maybe they are why humans are so ... double quotes." He struggled for the word. "Terrifying?" suggested another cub helpfully. "Impressive," Tovik corrected, shooting his companion a look. "Humans are impressive. You survive on Death World. You eat plants that burn your mouth for fun. You ride in metal boxes that explode to reach space. We want to understand human strength." Myra pinched the bridge of her nose. This was going in her memoir under disasters I should have seen coming. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she spoke into her communicator, "please cancel that order." Too late. It was flagged as diplomatic priority. The automated systems already dispatched a courier drone. Should arrive in about 40 minutes. 40, how is that even possible? We're currently in orbit around Station Kepler 7. They keep massive stockpiles of human goods. Apparently chocolate is a major trade commodity now. Of course it was. Humans had a knack for making their vices into everyone else's problems. Myra looked at the 5 cubs, who were now huddled together, ears drooping, tails tucked. They looked genuinely sorry but also genuinely curious. She sighed. Maybe this could be salvaged. "Okay," she said, kneeling down to their level. "First, we're going to have a serious talk about asking permission before using other people's things. Second, you're all going to help me explain this to your parents. And third, Tovik asked hopefully. Third, when those treats arrive, we're going to have a proper cultural exchange. I'll teach you about human snack foods, their history, and why we eat them. But, she held up a finger, we do this properly, small portions. And absolutely no hot sauce for cubs. But Miss Myra, how will we understand human strength without? Trust me, Tovik, the hot sauce is not what makes us strong. The cub tilted his head. Then what does? Myra smiled. Our ability to survive our own terrible decisions. Like leaving tablets unlocked around curious cubs. 40 minutes later, Recreation Bay 7 had been transformed into an impromptu classroom. The 50 boxes had arrived, along with 3 very confused supply officers, and Mira found herself conducting the galaxy's most chaotic nutrition and cultural studies lesson. The Velskaran parents, initially horrified at the massive shipment, had been surprisingly understanding once they learned their cub's motivation. They even stayed to participate, fascinated by Myra's explanations of agriculture, food preservation, and humanity's bizarre relationship with capsaicin. Tovik, munching carefully on a piece of chocolate, after Mira had checked the theobromine levels were safe for Velskaran physiology, looked up at her with newfound respect. Miss Myra, he said thoughtfully, I think I understand now. Humans are strong not because of what they eat, but because they share it. Myra felt an unexpected warmth in her chest. That's actually very wise, Tovik. Does this mean we can keep the hot sauce? Absolutely not. Later that night, as Mira filed her incident report, she couldn't help but smile. Ambassador Chen would probably give her grief about the supply expenses, and she'd be the talk of the ship for weeks. But watching those cubs experience their first taste of Earth's simple pleasures, seeing their parents engage with human culture, not through formal presentations, but through shared treats and honest conversation, that was diplomacy at its finest. Even if it did cost the council 50 boxes of junk food. Her tablet chirped with a new message from Tovik's father. Thank you for your patience today. Tovik wanted me to tell you he's decided to become a human ambassador when he grows up. Also, he's asking if humans have something called pizza. Please advise. Myra laughed and began typing her response. This was going to be a long, wonderful assignment. And from now on, her tablet would have a biometric lock.